see what works for you. It is springtime. So I thought we might make a little planter box, or, well, I don't know, something you can put flowers in. Get my brand new planter all dirty. So just 2 boards on the side, 1 on the bottom, 3 holes, some window holes here, which you don't really need to do. You still get the same effect. I just went a little above. And same thing here, 3 houses here, a couple of picket fences. So let's get started. Okay, so since it's for outside, and I kind of like rustic outside furniture, I got a barn board here. Just a plain old pine barn board. I get 16 feet of this 1 foot board. Well, 11.25 inch board. 16 feet of it for about $20. Well, we'll cut our length here. First, we're going to cut the length into 18 inches, which will give us enough room to put 3.5 inch planters. But if you want 4 inch planters, it'll also give you enough room for your flowers to come out in there too. We're going to cut a 17 inch long board. Take your 17 inch long board. For the 2 leg pieces, we're just going to rip it directly in half. So 11.25 divided by 2. We're going to rip these at 5 5/8 right in the middle of the blade. Now our next board, instead of ripping down the half, we are going to we're going to go 6 inches from the fence, which will give us a 6 inch board and a 5 inch board, roughly. Alright, so now we're going to cut the 2 45s that make the rooftop right here on the leg stands. Find the center of your board. Draw 2 45s directly off of it, and then chop it off. Now to create a couple dados in our 2 leg pieces here. I'm positioning mine 6 inches up. Seems like a good height to me. Dado for the I don't know, what are you gonna call it, the plant holder thing, whatever, for it to go in. So now you can see, because this board is 6 inches, the one that the plants are gonna sit in is 6 inches, and these ones are 5 5/8. We have a slight little protrusion, sticking out here. So I'm just going to mark where it is and put a very small 45 corner on it. Now we have our small little chamfer corners on. Now we just have to mark and position where we want our holes. For me, I'm going to come in from the middle, and then I'm going to measure out my 3 3/4 inch hole, I believe. No, 3 5/8 inch hole in the middle, and then I'll space the other ones out a couple inches from the middle one. Okay, so I have a makeshift compass here to do the circles. I have a 5/8 screw that I've put through on one end. Now the distance from that screw tip right here to this hole right here is the diameter of our hole. Well, the radius. So when I put this in on my mark here, see my mark right here, I'll simply place the screw precisely on that hole, give it a little push in, put my pencil in, and go around. Probably be smarter to make your compass just as long as you need, but there. So now we have a circle. Okay, so there we go. We have 3 holes. 1, 2, 3. Ignore this faded one because I put the compass on the wrong mark. Now we need to cut these holes out. So what I'm going to do is drill pilot holes with this 1/8" drill bit. That way we know where the hole is positioned on both sides. Switch to a, oh man. Now I'm going to switch to a 1" Forstner bit. Now you can do this process with the jigsaw. I like using the scroll saw, so that's why I need such a big hole. If you're using a jigsaw, you only need a 1/4" hole. That's where the pilot holes come in. Now I know exactly where the hole is on both sides. Okay, so now I just have to put my blade in, cut most of the circle out. So there we have 3 holes for our plants to fit in. You can make the holes bigger, smaller, depending on what you plan on putting in it, but this seems to be a good size, just over 3.5 inches. Next step, houses in the background with the picket fences. How I got the distance for the houses, you could get all technical and measure, or you could just bring your circles to your 5" board here, bring it up, mark on each end where each circle is, and then just find the center of those marks. And then from there you just have to draw 45-degree lines from that point down. Decide how you want to do your fences here. You can get fancy and measure it. I just do a bunch of triangles, didn't measure, just, you know, I think it looks better that way. Too precise, it doesn't look right. Looks too precise, looks too good. So, now we gotta cut this out, just like we cut this out. Now, if you decide to do these little picket fences and not just keep it straight like this, then what I recommend you do is cut out the bulk of the material first, so you only have just as much material that is actually needed for your design, and then go back and cut these little notches out. Otherwise, you got too much material, it's hard to turn the blade and so forth, but yeah, that's what we're with so far. So now I'm just going to keep cutting these little V's out. Okay, so that's what we're left with after cutting all the little pickets and the houses out. Now, these little marks here, which I've centered, that's 1 inch and 1 3/4 down from the peak, and directly in the middle of this, which is 1 3/4 this way as well. So there's 1 in each one, and I'm going to use my 1" Forstner bit to drill these holes out. Okay, same deal as before. Pilot hole with the 1/8" drill bit. And switch out for the Forstner bit. Halfway through each side. Okay, so we are all cut out with our little windows in the houses, and we have our holes cut for our plants to sit in. And then we have our 2 legs cut with our house peaks and our 3 deep dados. So now we need to cut the trim pieces that go on each of the peaks, both on the legs and on the house. Now I've got this 2x4 here for the sake of saving the pine I bought versus salvaged lumber. I'm going to pick the salvaged lumber if I can. So I'm going to mill this down to the proper size. When I'm done, the size I want is going to give us 1/4 inch on either side. So this wood is 7/8 of an inch thick, so we're going to basically go 1/2 inch wider than 7/8, which will give us 1 inch and 3/8. We'll put a 45 on it. just line it up with the peak of the house. And we'll mark it right down on the very bottom. I know that's where it ends. So now that gives me 4 5/8 of an inch. So I want to give it a 1/2 inch hangover. So we will just bring it to, you know what, we'll go further. We'll make them 5-inch strips. So we need 4 of these. And then we do the main leg portions. But for the smaller pieces here, now from peak to the end, peak to end is 2.5 inches. So we know from the very peak of our 45-degree piece on the outside is got to be at least 2.5. But we want a little overhang. So our total length will be 2. No, we'll go 2 3/4. We'll give it a 1/4 inch. They're smaller houses, they don't need to be quite as big. So 2 3/4 inch pieces. So now I'll grab my second one here and do the same thing again. Alright, so there is our six pieces for our little houses. Okay, so now we have our peak pieces, but they still have this 45 in the end, which actually probably would look okay. But I want it to go straight, so I've got my 5-inch marked here. So now I'm just going to take the saw and run them all through at 5 inches. So you can see I have a stop block set up. The stop block is exactly 5 inches from the inside to the end here, which will run up to my blade. So now I just have to run all these 4 pieces through and repeat the process with the smaller ones, and we're good. Okay, so we have all our little peaks here. They're all cut out and 45 and ready to go on. Now I'm going to do it by putting it in this clamp, holding it tight, and putting some glue on. Some sort of a... I didn't drop it. See? It's okay. If you had some sort of a jig, you could make maybe 1 with 3 peaks just for this if you plan on building a bunch of them. That'd be great, but I think this will work fine. I'm just going to basically place it on here, hold it, drill a couple holes, put some glue on, put some screws in, and the screws will come out. They're only there to hold the glue on till the glue sets. So once the glue is set, then I'll pull the screws out. But before these peaks go on, we're going to round over our edges. Mainly, not the peaks, but, well, you know what, peaks might look kind of cool if this is round over. But either way, we round over these holes, round over all the edges here, and round over the front edges, the back edge, and the circles. So let's do that. Okay, so I have a 1/4 inch round over bit in. You can use, you know, any bit you want, even some sort of a design, but I think the round over is perfect for this kind of application, so let's get it all cut. I'll put these screws in. Apparently my So again, add some glue. Probably help to open up the bottle first. So second last step is to trim your neighborhood to its final length. You remember we cut this and this piece together, so they're the same length, but this piece fits into a dado, so we leave loose this 3/8 and this 3/8, so this needs to come down to 17 1/4 inches. Okay, so I've cut to 17 1/4 inches, so now we just have to put it in. We'll go up 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to measure 1.5 inches from the base plate where the flowers sit to this neighborhood here. Okay, so I recommend not making the same stupid mistakes I did. You may notice 2 sets of holes. Kind of notice the front because of these bevels we put on. Apparently my brain didn't know that because this went on the front in the first time. So it came off, and another thing I didn't do, I didn't glue it. So it came off, got glued, and screwed back in with those number 8 1/4 inches. So there it is, ready to put 3 plants in, or you're going to want to protect it with the being outside. Polyurethane works really well for that. Spray lacquer itself. There's all sorts of good material out there. These, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with them yet. I kind of thinking maybe I might stain these a red and a blue, or just paint them, and then clear coat the rest of it. I don't know, we'll see. This one here, no windows on the back here. This one, it has the 4 windows. I kind of like this one better, and I'm kind of wishing after seeing the two compared that I had done this one with the windows. But either way, it's a quick, simple project, just what anybody can do with a little bit of time. With these peaks, if you have a brad nailer or a pin nailer or finishing nailer, use it. It'll be much quicker. A little bit of glue, snap with the nails, and you're good to go. So yeah, just ready for some protection, maybe some color, and you're ready to put some plants on. So I hope you enjoyed this project. It was a fun little project, and I liked it a lot. So now I get to put some flowers in them, which is a good thing because my daughter just had a fundraiser for her school selling these flowers. Actually, that's actually what these are from. And with her selling about almost $600 worth of flowers in the top in the school, that leaves us with some flowers that need to be put somewhere. So that was why these came out. So one of them will go to my place, one of them will go to my mother's probably, and I'm going to be building some more for my Etsy store. You can check that out. That's coming open in another week or so. And so that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video if you really liked it, because liking us gets us some opinions. Don't forget to leave comments. Again, opinions. And one more thing, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and I'm thinking of starting an Instagram page as well, so we'll see. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. KC Woodworks for you saying, build something today.